There are new questions tonight about the status of an investigation into the Indio Police Department and its chief. All of this comes after votes of no confidence in the chief of police, Mike Washburn, from the Police Officers Association and the department's police command unit. Tonight, I am digging into what's turned into a very public battle, at least from one side, in my I-Team investigation, department turmoil.
I was told by the investigator he'd been fired.
That's attorney Wendell Phillips, who represents the Indio Police Command Unit, the department's sergeants and lieutenants. He says this email from that investigator confirms he was released from his duties by the city of Indio.
Well, you have to assume, logically, that the investigator didn't tell the city, your chief and your assistant chief told the truth. Because if that was his conclusion, the city would have said, write that report, and they would have trumpeted it all over and used it as an excuse not to fire the chief.
Indio City Manager Brian Montgomery declined an interview with us but issued a statement. Reading in part, there is an ongoing investigation into the allegations of misconduct made by PCU attorney Wendell Phillips. The statement does not address whether the investigator was fired. Chief Mike Washburn has been under fire most of the year, much of it stemming from the case that is the subject of this arbitrator's report. In it, the arbitrator recommends that Officer Sergio Ramirez, who was fired in 2018 after he was acquitted of rape, should be reinstated and given back pay. Ramirez wasn't fired for the sexual encounter that led to the rape charge. Instead, he was fired for driving under the influence of alcohol, resetting his department's cell phone, and being dishonest. All issues the arbitrator found that the city failed to prove.
I think what he said was if he held the chief to the same standard that the chief tried to hold Ramirez to, he'd have to believe the chief intentionally lied.
Phillips does admit the arbitrator's findings and recommendation in the Ramirez case are not binding. The city manager in a statement saying, I cannot comment on the Ramirez matter, but I can confirm that I am currently reviewing it for my final decision regarding his appeal of termination.
I'm a sergeant with the Indio Police Command Unit.
Meet Sergeant Leo Parafan. Parafan did an investigation into the Ramirez case and found there was no reason to discipline him for his actions after he was acquitted. He declined an interview with us, allowing the command unit attorney to speak on his behalf.
After he turns that in, he gets a meeting with the chief and the assistant chief, and they basically tell him, chief basically tells him, I want to fire this guy, I need you to change your report.
Now Parafan is saying that he is the victim of retaliatory actions, and he's seeking whistleblower protection?
Absolutely. I mean, in this unit, I've represented this unit for almost 12 years. We average about one investigation a year against sergeants and lieutenants. People that get promoted to be sergeants and lieutenants don't commit that many discipline offenses. Since the first of the year, we've had, I think we're up to either 9 or 10.
This summer, as News Channel 3 reported when it first happened, both the department's command unit and the Indio Police Officers Association took votes of no confidence. Lieutenant Chris Hamilton was one of several who have spoken out against the chief.
Lead is through communication and trust, building equity in relationships. There is no trust. There is no equity.
The city attorney fired back against the attacks, and in particular against attorney Wendell Phillips back in September.
It certainly seems that Mr. Phillips is working to disparage the police department leadership as well as sway public opinion. I, as the city attorney, cannot engage in such conduct. We don't run our personnel investigations in the court of public opinion.
You're trying a case in the court of public opinion and not giving any of these people their rights in terms of due process.
Well, and she went even a little farther than that. She accused us of bullying the chief, and I don't think you can bully a policeman that's a liar.
Chief Washburn, in a previous statement, addressed that he's not allowed to comment on many of the allegations, saying in part, I am disappointed that they would not provide me the same consideration that I give them. The chief does continue to have backing, including the support of Mayor Elaine Holmes.
Chief, just want to reiterate our full and complete confidence in you.
That comment was from a meeting back in September. I asked the mayor in an email this week if she still stands by that, and she responded absolutely. At the same time, the mayor, Chief Washburn, and City Manager Montgomery all declining to do interviews, or they referred us to statements citing the need to maintain confidentiality in personnel matters. Right now at KESQ.com, you can see all of the public comments made at council meetings dating back to July on these issues. Meanwhile, the Indio POA also now raising concerns about staffing issues at the Indio Police Department. We're going to have more on those claims in a discussion with Peter coming up at 6:30 on CBS Local 2, and you'll be able to find that as well online at KESQ.com.